Hey budget gardeners, Vita Loca here. Join me today as I share why I plan on pruning my hydrangea blooms. So let's go. It is the end of October, and here in New Hampshire, the hydrangeas have gone by. And as pretty as they still are with their fall color, I want to go ahead while the weather is still warm and I want to start cutting off the blooms from my hydrangeas. Some of you might be thinking, why would I cut them back? Because they look pretty with the fall color and the fall foliage behind me. But I have to be honest with you, the weather is still half decent. We have daytime temperatures that are around 50 degrees Fahrenheit. And as the cold weather starts to creep in, it's not a lot of fun coming out here and cutting these blooms back. And before I tell you why I'm going to be cutting the blooms back, I want to go over a couple of basic things. This hydrangea is called Vanilla Strawberry. It looks so pretty when it was blooming earlier in the season. I absolutely love it. It's a panicle type hydrangea. And I also have two other hydrangeas in this area. They're both called Quickfire, and they are also panicle hydrangeas. Another hydrangea that I have many of in my yard is an Annabelle hydrangea, and those are smooth hydrangeas. Smooth and panicle hydrangeas bloom on new wood, meaning if I was to come in and do any sort of pruning right now on either of these kinds of hydrangeas, they would be perfectly fine. It's the hydrangeas that bloom on old wood that you don't want to do any pruning to in the fall or winter months. When it comes to cutting the blooms off of panicle or smooth hydrangeas, it's a personal preference. Where you live, you might leave these up all year long. And if I lived in an area where I didn't get as much snow or as much ice, I would leave these up all year long as well. However, here where I live, we get a lot of heavy ice, heavy snow, and it does a lot of damage to my hydrangeas if I don't cut their blooms off. You can imagine if there's something very heavy weighing down on these blooms, the branches are apt to snap or break. So you want to take care of that beforehand by cutting off these blooms. And I like to do it this time of year because again, the weather is not too bad. I could wait another month or two, but just keep in mind, if I do that, it's going to be much colder and I don't want to be out here doing that when it's super cold. My goal for this fall is just to come in and cut off the blooms. If I wanted to, I could also come in late fall, early winter, and I could cut back these particular varieties of hydrangeas by 30%. You can do that as long as your hydrangeas are dormant. I'm not too concerned about doing that quite yet. My biggest concern is just to get the blooms off so that once those heavy snow and ice loads start appearing, they're not going to do damage to my hydrangeas. And to do this job, I'm just going to be using pruners. I have my pop-up bag where I can put all the spent blooms. And if I wanted to, I could take the spent blooms and do something very pretty or decorative with them. It really doesn't matter where I cut on here because I will eventually come back in and cut my hydrangea back by 30%. So the big thing is just to get these spent blooms off. And clearly, if I wanted to be using these in some sort of a project, I could be cutting lower down on the stem. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions or comments, please drop them down below. And until the next video, make it a great day with gardening.